Welcome to the Barbell Strikes Back. I'm James McDermott, joined by Miguel Porter. Miguel, welcome back from India.
Yep. Almost a full week back. Yeah.
Almost a full week back, and you got right back into training. Almost right away, right? I think that Monday you got back. Right. When did you come back? What
I
day?
mean, I don't know if I'd call it training.
Hey, in the gym.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
That's hard. That's tough to be away for. What were you away? 2 weeks
Yeah. 2 weeks.
in another country. I don't imagine you worked out when you were over there. Did you?
No.
Not even some like morning push-ups. Nothing.
Oh, yeah. Like body weight stuff for sure.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, there was a plan. There was a Gold's Gym very close to where we were. And a couple of my friends' cousins that live around are like, they go to the gym every now and then.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, it was very interesting though. Like a lot of the family members that I met, they were immediately like, "How often are you in the gym?" And I was like, I train a good amount," and they were like, "Yeah, we can tell. We can."
That's a nice compliment.
Yeah, no, and I got it a good amount. I was very happy with that. But yeah, I think we were just so busy with like the actual goings on that maybe there was like a morning here or there that we maybe could have hit the gym, but
Yeah.
I was fine without it. Yeah.
Oh boy, we got the New York WSO info scrolling on the bottom.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I was like, what is that? That's for another show, and we are on the correct channel. All right, that was like, wait a minute, we might have to redo everything. No, well, it is. I don't know. I've never experienced this because I haven't traveled to many other countries, but I know like Mike experienced this a little bit. You go to like another country, and people are like, oh, like look at you, like you look like just completely different. Like how much do you work out? Like does it kind of make you feel like, whoa, I feel like a little bit like a superhero right now, or something like that?
Yeah, there were different instances for different people that went. Obviously my friend, his family's from India. Both his mom and dad's side live in the same city. Um, so they were all there, and he and them all look like they're there. Um, and then nobody else on the trip was like not his wife or her mom or any of the friends. Um, so there were certain people. There was like another guy with us that was like, see, like, and it's very interesting because you always go to other countries and you see the like average height and things of like I didn't seem that short in India.
Really?
Like I'm a shorter guy, but it's like it's different because the average is very different. So
Wow.
like this guy, I don't even know if he's 6 foot. He might be, but like to some people, he was like huge. But like here, you wouldn't like give it a second look. And maybe it was the same thing with like me in working out, where it was like, oh, we can definitely tell we're here, or it's like maybe we're around gym people a lot, so like I don't think about it too often.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just like a different expectation overall. But yeah, that was definitely interesting. The some people, there was a couple blonde girls that were on the trip. There was one that like people just wanted pictures with, no matter, like, we were at like stores and she would use it as like bartering. If they were like, the store owner was like, "Can I get a picture?" And she's like, "Can I get something for free?" Um, and
Hey,
like just
not a
ran
bad idea.
on the street and at the weddings for sure. I think because we were in like more traditional Indian wear, like so many people like forget the bride and groom, like they wanted pictures with us.
Oh my gosh.
Um, but yeah, no, it was really cool.
It's it's funny. Like there's levels. Like since we're in the gym all the time, we see that we're like, oh, well, we see big legs every day. We see people doing crazy things every day, and there's like levels to it where like you'll go to like the Arnold, and you're like, whoa, like that now there's even more like
Yeah.
people, and you're like I didn't know someone could look like that, or I've never seen someone with biceps that big in person. And I guess you're doing a good service on like how like the thought is the perception of Americans all around the world is like, oh, well, they're fat Americans, things like that. Everyone's overweight. So you're doing good, Miguel,
Right.
on like on representing a different, view on Americans. Can you imagine what it must be like to be one of those strong men who are like nearly 7 feet, 400 pounds, just a literal giant to go to places like that, and what they must think when they're walking down the street?
Yeah, no. Again, like this trip was probably like my first taste of that. Like this is the farthest I've gone, and I've gone to like Latin America and stuff like that. So it's like it's kind of like you just get kind of brushed by. Not even if you're outside of touristy areas, like I mean, depending on the Latin American country, it's like I look like everyone there anyway. So it's like that. But yeah, this trip was definitely the first time where it's like, oh yeah, this group for sure of like people, it's like this is something new. Because we were so far out of like a touristy area. Like we were so far that yeah.
And that's crazy too, where it's like, I mean, we experience it here in this country. There's definitely parts of the country where those people that live there, like them going to like a city is like they're on another world and they've never seen something like this. And then now here you are, and like your friend, some of those people may never have seen someone with blonde hair before. It's kind of crazy to think about, even I don't know, maybe even on like TV or the internet or something like it. Just like they're like, what is this? I'm sure they've heard about it, but it's just crazy to think about that in 2025. That could still happen, where there's such a culture shock on like where people are living on opposite ends of the worlds, and they may never leave that radius of where they were born and experience those other people.
Yeah.
Imagine what it must have been like now let's go like way back when like a boat pulls up and like like giant men just get out and they've got swords as big as you are and stuff like that. Or you could see how people would think like, oh no, giants are real. They live across the sea, because we're all 4 foot, 5, and some of them are maybe even 6'3". But like to them, like you're like, no, the giants are over there. And then you get that one guy who grows up to be 7 feet or something like that. And oh, there's our king. Yeah, that's the king. You go talk to him about it if you want to.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about things like that. Well, that's awesome. And I'm surprised that there was a Gold's Gym in India. That's another thing where I'm like, I would have thought that was just purely an American thing, that Gold's Gym, I guess they do franchise. Yeah, they must franchise. Yeah. I wouldn't think about it overseas. I wouldn't think about it that being also a popular brand.
Yeah, no. And I actually didn't end up going in, but like we got the like, oh, here is where it is on Google Maps. Like you can click and like look at it inside, and like it seemed just completely regular. Like I would have had no trouble other than the like a typical Gold's Gym where it's just like, oh yeah, these bumper plates. Am I cool to like drop these plates or So other than that, like it seemed like it had everything that I would have needed.
Cool. Hey, there's always a barbell to be found somewhere. And then if you don't have one, do push-ups, sit-ups, hollow rocks, find a doorway, do pull-ups. Just don't rip the door off the hinges, something like that. That's whenever I see people doing that in videos, I'm like, you're happy now, but when you have to replace that door, that's gonna stink. Because doors are expensive. If you ever walk by them, like in Lowe's and stuff, you're like, why does this cost so much? It's because they know you need it. You need that door. So you have to spend a couple $100 on it. Well, welcome back. And like I said earlier, it's you got right into the gym. We showed up to Barbell Club on Monday, and you were in there already doing some lifts. And I saw was that the Klokov complex you just posted to your stories?
No, this was something different.
It reminded me of it.
I just saw something. I think somebody posted a video, and I was like, oh, that would be good to do. Get like some time under tension. That's kind of what I've been doing training wise, where it's like, I don't know how much time I'm going to spend or like how many reps I'm going to do. So it's like, I've been doing a lot of pauses, a lot of like just time holding onto the bar. So I'm like, even if I just do like a quick build up, like reps are being added just because each rep is a few reps, you know?
Well, and it sounds a little bit similar to what we've been doing in Barbell Club with the group. You know, we've been doing a lot of pausing in pulls and pausing in the split position. Everyone's jerk is looking real good, and everyone's really confident on the jerk because we've been doing like split work, of just footwork drills.
Yeah.
And we when we did the meet, we just had a meet. You know, Haley, Chris, and Schaff all did the meet, and their jerks were like just looking really really good.
Yeah.
But it's funny, it's because everyone's really confident on the jerk, but the snatch and the clean not so much because we just haven't been doing them that often. But if you get that clean, the jerk was like, bam,
Yeah.
like it's going to be great. But no, that's great. It's a go by feel. We've been doing that a lot. Like I've just been putting on the board now, build by feel. You know, at first I was like 3 to 5 kilos, so I didn't want people to go crazy. And now I'm just like, just feel it out, just whatever feels right. And people have been repeating a lot of weights, but then going up. So it's good. People are like learning how to like train that way, and I think that's
Right.
a good thing to get out of the off season. So yeah, and you did that complex, which was all right. It was a clean, a front squat, a jerk, a front squat, a jerk.
Yep.
And you did that with 100 kilos. That had to have made you happy.
Yeah. Well, it's also the weird thing of like, I have no reason to believe that I can do a number that is, you know, my close to my PR for one rep with that complex. But in my head, I'm like, maybe I could do 110 with it. And then like it started off, I did a couple things before, and I think my first rep was at 60, and I missed the first jerk at 60, and I was like, oh, okay, I'll reset, I'll restart this complex and everything. And then I think I missed 92. And then I said like, all right, if I put my camera on and I put on 100, I know that I'll get 100.
Yeah.
That's kind of what it was. So they weren't going like amazing. The 100 felt fine, but no, I think the front squats were a good add just because it kind of changes the way that you have to hold everything and get ready for those jerks. So yeah.
And I just plugged it in my calculator here. Based off of a theoretical max of 120, that's around 84% for 100. So maybe like down towards actual max, it's like closer to 85%. So
yeah.
Do you ever think about 100 kilos that way anymore? And like, oh, that's not 90% anymore. That's a little bit lower.
Well, yeah, I think 100 kilos for a while now has been the like, that's my base number. Where I'm like anything
minimum?
clean and jerk. Yeah, I'm like anything clean and jerk related, even if it might be like, no, because I even think like if we were doing triples, my goal would be to at least get 100 on there.
For a clean and jerk?
Yeah.
You could definitely do that. I mean, you've done the Shankel complex with 100 like years ago.
So that's why I'm like, I think everything like clean and jerk wise, I always think 100 kilos. It's the same way with like squatting where it's almost like 220, like nothing is anything until like 225. Like I typically wouldn't put my belt on until like we reach that point or heavier or like past that point. So I think clean and jerk, like 100 is that number, and like around 80 is probably the same for snatching, just because they're more technical.
Yeah,
like,
that's what I was thinking, 80. And that's a nice like 80, 100, you know.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's funny. I was talking about this to someone in Barbell Club the other day. You know, you have your maximums, and we talk a lot about the maximums, but one thing we really don't talk a lot about are the minimums.
Yep.
And if you raise your minimums, the maximum has gone up. Like there's no way around it unless there's some kind of like a mental block when you get to a certain number. But maybe that is something that we need to focus on more in the new year, the next training cycle, on like, okay, we want the maximums to go up. We typically approach it this way. Maybe we need to approach this more like the minimums, you know, on just hitting sets and reps there and like a slow, which I don't know. We kind of do that. Once we settle into like a groove after a couple weeks.
This is something that we've talked about before too, where Yeah. For me, like I always focused on raising like the floor. Like, because when you go to training and you're like, I feel terrible today, it feels good to know, like, wow, today I felt gross, but I was still able to hit this number.
Mhm.
So, like, on meet days when you're doing your warm ups and you're like, ooh, this doesn't feel great, like, all right, at least I've done a double at 100 on a day that I felt like garbage. So I know that I can at least pull out this number
Yeah.
based on that. And yeah, so that helps a lot.
Do the positions help you think that way too? I'm like, oh, I've done a double from the hang, or from the hips on this one, or my least favorite position. So I know I can hit that weight from the floor for one.
Yeah, to a degree. I think I've kind of gotten around to making all the numbers as similar as possible. I don't really have too many hang numbers that are like well above the floor anymore.
Yeah. I got to bust out that old spreadsheet. Remember that spreadsheet I made
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
plug it all in to see what each one was a percentage of from the floor? I should do that before the end of the year for everybody just to kind of see. Um, yeah. No, it's fun stuff to think about, and um, now when do you plan to return to regular training, or you just kind of taking the rest of the year off?
I don't know. I honestly don't know. Just because of like, it's nice to not have such a rigid schedule.
Yeah,
Like I do want to get in on days that I can get in, but also like it's nice to get home before like 8:30.
yeah,
Um,
and it's so dark out. Like
right.
like literally yesterday, someone called me at like 4, and I was planning to go grocery shopping. And then when I got off the phone, maybe like an hour later, I looked and I was like, nope, nope. Like if it's this dark out, like I'm not leaving the house. Like it was only like 5 o'clock or 5:30. But
Yeah.
I was like, well, I will go tomorrow. And this is like a new thing that I've started on. Like unless I have to leave the house because I have to go coach class, I'm not leaving the house if it gets dark out.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
But yeah, I think the plan for like this week, I think I was planning on coming in to Barbell Club tomorrow.
Mhm.
Um, I don't think I'll be there on Wednesday, and then I'm not sure about Friday. But the plan is to be back soon-ish. I think it's
Okay.
another weird timing because it's like this week and then next week is Thanksgiving
I
essentially.
can't believe it.
So I'm like, December it is when I'm coaching everyone, and then
Yeah.
I'll be back.
It's crazy. Like it's been pretty sleepy in Barbell Club, like, and I think everyone's kind of going through the same thing. Like one, like traffic's bad, so like if you have to adjust your schedule, otherwise you're gonna be late. You saw everyone's just freaking late
Yeah, yeah,
all the time. And then it's just we're here, all right, and we're doing it. But we've been doing some cool things with the training that I've been liking, and it's been working. It's been a lot of upper body focus. We're getting jacked right now. We even finished with a little like upper body pump um, at the end of Friday's session. So we've been doing just so much upper body, and I think that'll be a nice balance once we get back into the squats. Will return. It's it worked too well to not return.
right.
Maybe in like different ways, but it's like, all right, it works. So why I take a break from it, and we're taking a pretty big break from it. Um, and the break works out well because, like, all right, right after states, everyone wants a rest. Then people are just doing different things. So it's like you wouldn't normally take October, November, 3 months off, but it's like, yeah, that kind of how it works out. It works out. Like these 3 months are spotty. So much stuff is going on.
Yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. It was like, all right, we're gonna take those 2 weeks off for after states or weekends change, and then I'm gonna be in India for 2 weeks, and then when I get back, it's like, and then all these transition weeks into the week that you're gonna be gone, the week that you get back, and all that stuff, and then Thanksgiving's right around the corner, and then yeah, so
Yeah, it's
yeah,
it's tough. Oh, what was that, Siri?
I think that was Alexa somewhere.
Oh, Alexa.
Yeah.
Alexa's like, and he didn't tell you about. Wouldn't that be funny if Alexa or Siri's like will just listen and like there's like an honesty factor to it, and like if you were like fudging the truth a little bit, it'd be like, actually, he could have gone to your party, like that.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. That's why you don't put like all your calendar stuff and sync all this and that so it knows where you are, because it has that info. It
Yeah,
totally could.
I don't even turn it on. I just got a new phone finally, which iPhone 17, Miguel. Look at that. Look at those
Nice.
cameras. I had a 12, which it was a shock, all the cables, because they're on the C adapter now.
Yeah.
And I was on the Lightning, and even my car, it's an A adapter. So I had to buy all these cords and stuff. And the newest videos filmed were at the meet. So if they looked extra crisp, that's why.
Nice.
So I have a new phone. But yeah, I don't even have Siri turned on. I don't even know how to use it. I don't even know why or how I would use it. And I'm going to keep it there. Keep it there. I don't need it. I don't want to come into my house and be like, Siri, what time does the show start? Yeah, I don't need to do that. I'll just look.
Yeah.
I'll just do it the hard way, the original way. Well, it's good to have you back in the gym, back in Albany, and we'll see you back in training soon. We had a debate pop up the other day in our CrossFit class on the concept of, do I get credit for the rollover calories or not? And I thought about it. And people came to my side. Everyone seemed to agree about it because I think I make a compelling argument. My stance is, okay, all right. In the open, I think you're allowed rollover calories, right?
Yes, but that was my whole thing when I read it, was there are.
So here, if it's allowed in the open, that is purely because for the judge's benefit. That's purely on like to stop arguments. On like, well, no, it said 29, and then like you look over and a split second, it says 30 now. That's purely for the judges, because we know it's judging is hard, and maybe you weren't looking at the monitor. Now the guy's yelling at you. Like, that's purely why it's got to be. But I think from a training perspective, it shouldn't count. So the workout we were doing, 4 rounds, every 2 minutes, you have to do max calorie bike for 30 seconds. And then for every calorie you biked, you got to deduct a second off the part 2 score, which pretty cool format. I really thought that was a neat way of doing that. And a neat way of making you actually try for the first part, because otherwise you could just coast. So things are valuable now. But the calories are what you do in the specific time, not the rollover. So the rollover is going to happen at 30.5 seconds, 31 seconds. And my thought was like, well, if the workout is for rounds and reps and I'm at the bottom of my squat and Miguel yells time and I stand up, that doesn't count. I didn't finish that full squat within the time, So I worry about things from competition seeping into training so much that everything's a freebie, everything's a cutting of a corner, everything's a watering down because of the competition. And then you really don't get effective training, or as best as you could. So my stance is that it shouldn't count, the rollover. What do you think about this?
Yeah, it's because when we talk about the open and everything, I feel like they've even set it up so that a lot of times you aren't even ending on like you might if it's an AMRAP or something, but sometimes it's like, okay, you can technically let the rower roll through if you want, but you can't leave the rower. So like if it's ending a workout, whatever, I'll get to that later. But like if you're going on to another implement, it's like, all right, if it's 20 calories and you're at 19, you can unstrap if you want, but the second you step off the rower, you're at 19. Like you can't, your reps that you're doing on your deadlift or whatever don't count because you haven't hit 20.
And now, so just to pause you there, that right there, that situation, even though you know the rollover is coming, go to a very competitive class. Go to Albany CrossFit 2012. Now people think you're cheating. Not like it's like the thing that we like kind of allow now. back over 10 years ago, people would have been like talking to the gym owner and being like,
Mhm.
Miguel cheats. Like he shaves, he leaves early, like he does, like, because, and then people are going to start looking at everything else you do. So it's
Yeah.
just kind of funny how like it used to be like a taboo thing. Like you're saying, like it was at 20, you got off when it was 18. And then maybe, you know how sometimes the rollover doesn't always go your favor.
Yeah, exactly.
Now someone walking by your monitor sees 19 because you got off at 18 and a pull. So like this used to cause problems back in the day with people thinking or people actually cheating.
Yeah, and it's like I always have the same mentality of like run through the line, right? Like if
Yeah.
that's the type of thing it is, like you're just losing time by letting it roll. You know, you just need another half pull. Just do it
Yeah.
or whatever. If you
Or
get
fitness.
half
Tabata.
a
You
calorie,
stop at 17 seconds and because you're not going to get another rep or you
right?
just like, well, it's done. That's why I try not to say 3, 2, 1 stop on Tabatas because people, when they hear the 3, they're like, well, I'm done.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
that's fitness you're leaving on table.
So there's that, and then I guess I feel like they have put it in the rules before on like how to mark those calories if someone ends on a row. Um, but there has to be, you got to make like a statute of limitations here.
Yeah.
Where honestly, like, hey, if your judge is farting around doing whatever, and then they come back and they're like, oh, how many calories did you get? Whatever that says, even if it's a minute later and it's just been adding and adding and adding, whatever, that's fine. If
I
your judge
agree
is
for
on top of
competition.
it
Yeah.
and you're done, they look down, they look up at the monitor, and they write down a number. That's the number, even if
Yes.
it's like, and then it ticked over. Like they've already written it down. That's the number
Yeah.
that you have.
No,
It's fine.
I think both those scenarios are valid because, and one, if that's your judge, like the who's just wandering around texting on their phone and stuff, you need another judge,
Yeah.
and you shouldn't be judging, if that's what you're doing because you're clearly not taking it as seriously as you should for the athlete. And then in the other situation, if it says max calories in 30 seconds, and 30-second mark hits, the judge sees 19, writes it down. No, it ain't 20. It's if they were doing their job right, they'll see the precise number that should be there. And I think, and the thing is, it changes all the time, right? From open to open and competition to competition. I think with barbells, it's if the bar is in motion when the time runs out, you can finish it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
I understand why they do that because someone's going for a big lift, they're waiting, But then when you watch some people like hanging out behind the bar, it's like you couldn't have started this lift 10 seconds earlier. Like it's like people, I don't know, they like I guess that's a form of showboating or something. It's like I don't believe you really needed that time when you just see them that they're like, is everybody watching now?
It helps. It helps for some
I know,
people.
I
It
know.
helps.
I know. I hate the theatrics of it, but in weightlifting, if that bar hasn't passed your knees by the time the clock expires, it's a no lift. So I guess it's kind of the same. It's just not like a clear mark of like it has to have passed the knees. But even that, like it could be like, well, I could agree more with that now that I talk myself through it because you're maximizing the whole time versus
Yeah.
like you have to stop at this time, and also the barbell's not going to lift itself, whereas the machine is just giving you extra calories.
Right. And it's almost like the way that a rower, if we're rowing for like a long distance, right? How you can do a countdown and it'll stop the clock when you hit that time and like save
Yeah.
that. If there was something, and I'm sure there is when they do like bigger competitions of like, hey, we're doing intervals at 1 minute, that's calculate what it's at, and that's the score there. Because it's like we've seen people on the bike. I feel like that's where this like really stems from. It's like, all right, 30 seconds in 29 through 31 seconds, everyone's just doing the extra.
Yeah.
And you're like, time. And then you see like, all right, as I'm getting off, let me also just
Yeah.
roll. And that's when it's like, okay, that's
Yeah.
not even rollover. You're just going past 30 seconds.
And with the effort part of it, where like, all right, last 20, 30 seconds, you see people really start to pick it up. And then like, you're just there behind them. Like, where was that the last 10 minutes of this workout? Like, imagine if you put like, not that, let's say if that's 100% and you were doing 75%, imagine if you did 85% or 80% effort in this workout. You would have got a lot more out of it, and that's why like we've been trying to communicate a lot more in our gym on like, you get what you put into it. Like if you really want to do something here, like you got to actually try, because it just has felt, and we've been talking about this like all year, just too much of the competition element. Like, oh, well, like, why it's not even worth it. It's like, yes, it is, because it's not the score. It's your fitness. You were away when this happened.
The thing. It's like, it's a different competition element where everyone's like too existential isn't the word, but like everyone is very much like oh, well, I've already lost. What's the point?
Yeah.
Or like oh, like I'm not going to gain spots from this. So what's the point? Where it's like the competition aspect of it should be like, I'm going to go as hard as I can for everything. Like I'm going to overdo it. Like it's very interesting how it kind of switched back one to the other, where it's like, oh, I know where I'm at. I'm not going to gain any spots. I'm not going to lose any spots. So I can just coast through.
Yeah. And there's just a whole spectrum of it, of like the competitive thing that seeps into which we want that. We want you to chase one another. We want you to push to try to beat or stay on pace with other people, because there's a ton of value in that. But you start to get into the weeds when you go to one end where it's like, you're just going way too crazy, or maybe doing weights and stuff that you shouldn't be because it says it's RX and that's the only workout. And then there's the other spectrum of like, you're going to over game and over analyze everything. You're going to divide your 21 wall balls into 777 with precisely 4 seconds of rest in between them to make sure you can make, or where it's like, how about you just push into the dark? And if you had to stop at 18, you stopped at 18, but like, it's just a whole thing. And I've been trying to tell people in different situations where maybe like the score might be prioritized too much than the effort. I'll just tell classes now, like, no one cares about your score when this is all done. But you will care about the effort that you put into it when you get to your goals faster, or the way you feel after it. So I've been just trying to tell people that a lot more often. And we have a whole thing now going on with the run, which that's actually, I did. Were you on vacation when I went on my running route soapbox?
I feel like I've heard of this. Okay.
So, well, real quick, we had a running workout that popped into the gym, and it was like running and handstand walks or something like that. And I told the class, I said, hey, the run ends when you get back in here. And I set up a cone in the room, and we all had to go around the cone to get back. And I'm like, because no other station do you like, oh, well, when I'm 100 meters out on the row, I just stop rowing. Yeah. And I just see if it'll get me there. Or I walk from my pull-up bar to my barbell, and I stand there for 45 seconds, and then I pick up the barbell. No other workouts do we do this except for the run, where everyone finishes where the mark is outside, and then they take a whole minute to get back inside. Yeah. And it's always the people that set up the furthest away too. And so it's like, and then then they're like, I hate finishing after everybody. I'm like, you rested for 5 minutes in this workout. And like, if you would have jogged to your station, you wouldn't have finished so far behind everybody. And then that wouldn't have upset you. So now we're trying to get all the coaches on board. We start the runs in the room when we can. And and you set the cone on and you just go out clockwise. Or like if you're on the Kool-Aid Man side, you have to go around to come in. If you're on the hallway side, let's say by the music, you have to come in, go around that cone, then come to your station. And this way it's even for everybody. And then for the people that said, well, then it's not 400 meters. And I was like, it doesn't matter. It literally, like, I told him too, I'm like, do you know 100% that is 400 meters or 200 meters? Do you know? Have you measured it? No? You've just been trusting what I've been saying? Boy, you should, like, whatever happened to question authority and whatnot? Like, that feels a little bit long on that, which it is as close as we can get it, but it doesn't matter. I will start programming 440 meters if you care about it that much.
Because it's like, are you going on Wodify then checking other gyms who also did this workout today? And you're like,
Yeah.
I didn't get the best in the world because that person had 40 less meters. It's like we're all doing the same thing at the same gym.
Miguel, if it means that much to everybody, I will just tack on the extra distance to every run we ever do. And that's what we do at Albany CrossFit. We do 220 meters, and it won't matter. It's like, and it's like, if you are scaling the run, you 100% should be running back into this room. So it's like, I'm going to scale the run to 200 meters and then walk back in. Like, what are we doing here? Like, that's why I've been trying to tell these classes, and they're forced to do it, but I think that will be better for everybody, because we've talked about this on, like, everything's gotten too relaxed. Burpees are automatically step up, step down. No one knows how to sprint the burpees anymore. Everybody over games how to split up their reps instead of like, well, let me see what I can do today. That's how it used to be. Let me find out how many wall balls is too many, and then fight for my life through the rest of it. You need to do that from time to time.
Yeah.
And of course, we'll have strategy and expectations and stuff like that. But I think this will be a positive thing on just having the runs start on the inside and go around like that. Now, that being said, you may not be able to do that for Thanksgiving.
I was just thinking there's no shot.
No. That different situation. That's an event. That's an event. It's going to be a long workout. It's Thanksgiving. If you're walking from the parking lot in, will I yell at you? Yes. But if you do, all right, it's Thanksgiving. Have a good day. I'm glad you came in.
Yeah.
But if you were doing the turkey trot, would you have
right. Yeah.
It's a whole thing. So are you how are you feeling about Thanksgiving? You're going to be coaching your first Thanksgiving Day WOD.
Good. It's always a weird day because you're like, there is so much going on. And like people travel and all that stuff, but then people also travel in town, and so it always evens out. There's always a good group.
Yep. It'll be interesting to see what happens, because I should probably do that this week. Send out an email to remind everybody we're doing that. It just doesn't seem real that it's coming up this soon.
Yeah.
So let everybody know that we're having the Thanksgiving WOD. It's the only one on the day. It was in a newsletter, but people need a reminder. And also, it's a bring a friend day. Bring someone in if you want, and we'll have drop-ins. So we'll see what the makeup is this year. I think last year we had 17 people and one drop-in, a couple first-timers. So it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Are you going to tweak that lesson plan at all? Cut things out, chop things in?
We'll see. I have to get back in like the headspace of like programming and stuff again too.
Yeah.
Like I changed up today's workout.
I saw you just had one person for a.
Yeah. So I like, even in my head as I was doing it, I was like, I feel like people don't love this style. So I was like, all right, I'll see what I can do. And then it worked out.
It kind of makes you wonder, like the programmers have programmed that a couple times. And it's like, does your gym like this? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I was thinking, I was like, they weren't doing Sunday programming for a while, and then they're like, fine, we'll bring it back. So I feel like some days they are just maybe throwing some stuff, but I
don't know. If I was I'm assuming they're paid. If I was being paid and had the honor of doing that programming, I would never feel that way. I would be, oh my gosh, I'd be working on it for months. I'd be like, well, wouldn't you? So I don't get that kind of attitude about it.
I don't know. But yeah. So just got to get back in the mindset of it. And then there'll be some tweaks, some more of like, I guess my signature things in it. But yeah.
Cool. And, today it's a perfect example. One person coming, it's Sunday. It's a 20-minute partner AMRAP of just like moving on a machine and all these holds. Today, like I would, if you would have texted me like, hey, I changed it to Fight Gone Bad or something like that. I asked if they like, do you really want to, like, I would have been tempted to be like, do you want to do that? Like, what would you like to do?
Right.
And if you're like, oh, I didn't get the bench press, or I want to do this, I would have totally changed it. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that, because it's a private session now. It's you can literally do anything you want. Even if like two people came in, I'd probably keep it. I'd be like, well, all right, it's class now. But if it's one person, I would be tempted to be like, do you want to do this? Like, we can do anything you want to do today. And they're like, I wish I could have done Chad the other day. All right, let's do Chad. Get that box. No one's gonna say that. But so, well, cool. Yeah, you got to get back. You're back into your normal life routine, your coaching routine, your training routine. There's a lot that has to get back on track.
Yeah.
Each turn.
Yeah.
Oh, and work. I imagine there's a lot to do there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, good luck, Miguel, on that.
Mm-hmm.
So we have I guess that's a philosophical topic. Part one is do the rollover calories count? And I think that's a decent standard if we have it for our gym. But the next one I have here is just this concept of living a lifestyle versus living a death style. Have you ever heard that term before, death style?
Probably. Trying to think. Okay, I guess I now get the context of which this is going to go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like I had never thought about it that way or heard that before, but there's a song called "Frantic" by Metallica, and in part of the lyrics is he goes, my death style or lifestyle determines my death style. And I guess in the context of the songs, that's like, well, how you live your life determines, how you might finish it, barring accidents and things that are outside of your control, But just that term death style, I looked it up, and it's just it's a lifestyle that's very unhealthy and bad for you. And then I started thinking, I'm like, how many people are actually living a death style and not a lifestyle? And because we could generalize and have broad term lifestyle, that's just how you live, and you, for good or bad, right? But if you want to focus on the points of life and death, like, well, life that's prosperous, that's thriving, that's did I already say progress? I might say progress. No. But it's a fruitful way of living. Your health goes under that life. And then with death, that's like, okay, that's negative. That's feeling bad. That's maybe sadness, depression. That's maybe excess weight, all things that you don't want. Poor health, chronic disease. That's what I think of. And we could just fill in those two categories. And so it's just an interesting thing to think about. Like I imagine if this term was used more, people might be prompted to make more change quicker or just in general. If they're like, oh, your doctor's like, so you're living more of a death style than a lifestyle, would that, if you went to the doctor and they like had these like two charts, like, well, Miguel, based on what I see from your biomarkers and everything and what you're telling me on how your day-to-day routine is, you're living a death style instead of a lifestyle. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it depends on the thing. Yeah, I think I already kind of think of a lot of things as like, are you adding or are you taking away? Whether that's like community-based, society-based, just overall lifestyle of like, or like, yeah, when you go on a group trip with 11 people and you go, all right, who's adding something here? Who's like neutral and who's just constantly like bad vibes taking away from like enjoyment, right? So I guess, yeah, lifestyle, I've always kind of thought of it that way. But I mean, yeah, different things have different factors from like a technical, nutritional standpoint to like enjoyment of life as well, where it's like, all right, you can eat that hamburger, but that takes 30 seconds off your life or something. And I'd be like, that's fine. That's fine. But yeah, I think if more people did think about things that way, it could help, but it could also lead into that kind of like competitive thing that we were talking about before, where people are like, well, it's already not looking good. There's no point in me like trying to counteract this. But I do think there are a lot of things where if you just thought about, okay, this is only taking away, like you have to weigh your options of like, how much are you gaining from this thing versus how much it's clearly taking away. Like you eat this all the time for 30 seconds, it's really good. Then you feel sick for the whole week. Is it worth it?
Yeah. And that would be something where, like, if you made yourself like a list, lifestyle, death style, like look, it's really what I would look at first are what are the things you do chronically. And so, like, if you get up every morning, Miguel, and you stretch, that's a chronic thing that you do, but it goes under the lifestyle bucket. Like that's a positive, good thing. I can't think of any reason of outside of, like, of course, if you spend too much time doing it and you don't eat or something, or maybe you spend too much time in a stretch and you hurt something. I don't see how that could be a negative thing. But then if you think about another chronic thing you do, like, okay, well, I consistently go to bed between 1 and 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm just up all night watching TV and scrolling and stuff. That's clearly under the death style
Right.
bucket. And that's and the death style bucket things are more than likely going to negatively affect the overall lifestyle. You're going to wake up and feel awful. You're going to have no energy. You're not going to want to do things. So yeah, I think it's like kind of the chronic, like the chronic and the accumulation of it, because you could have one death style type thing. Like maybe the only bad thing that you do, Miguel, quote bad, is you scroll too much on your phone, but you go to bed at a decent time, you wake up at a decent time, you eat well, you train, you sleep, you do all these things. Well, okay, then like it's under this bucket for sure, but you got one thing in that bucket. And of course, the 0 on this bucket is the best. But then easily, because of like maybe even a season of life, things could start going over there really, really quick. And then they all really add up and then they bleed into one another. Now you start staying up late and you're scrolling and all this stuff. And then they have like little subcategories. You're scrolling and you're comparing your life to other people's lives, or you're seeing all the news that has been perfectly curated to upset you. And now you're stressed out all the time and like just all these things. And then you start compensating because you're like, well, I'm stressed out. Let me have these chips. And now it's just a downward spiral. And I feel like the death style bucket is way harder to get out of than it is to fill up the lifestyle bucket. I don't know. Does that sound accurate?
Yeah, no, for sure. So in India, we were at this like bed and breakfast. So everyone had their own rooms and all of that. On vacation, I tend to wake up very early. So I was pretty much waking up at like 6 a.m. every morning there. But because of that, I was able to kind of just be up before everyone, get up, brush my teeth, change into whatever, just to like walk around inside the place, and just kind of like relax and like, stretch a little bit, like move around, just like feel your body for a little bit before, like, when I'm home, I wake up and I immediately get ready for work. And just like what that does to your body, like, I mean, we were traveling, we were in India, like some people got like a little sick. And it's like, I think for me, what also helped was that I was able to like get up, let my body like adjust to everything first before like immediately moving, immediately trying to get down for breakfast time, immediately trying to shower and get out the door, where, wake up earlier, slow everything down, let yourself feel everything that's going on. And then, yeah, like those habits kind of compound on top of each other.
And you
And
have,
yeah, that like adds. Yeah.
because of the way you treat your body, just exercise, nutrition, things like that. Like you have such a huge hedge, just like we talked about in CrossFit, against disease. Like,
Right.
maybe you had the same little tiny bug that everybody else got, but like you're so far on the health, wellness, fitness continuum that like it only took you back right to here. You're still in fitness. You're still fine.
Right.
Your body's just like, interesting. Kill it now, and
Yeah.
just boom, everything's gone. Versus they're like maybe around wellness, or for all we know, maybe towards sickness, and then just get a little sicker. And it's kind of one of those things. Like if you think about the health and wellness continuum, if you're in fitness, you can kind of feel when you hit that next level of fitness, and you're like, oh my goodness, look at the things I can do now, and then boom, 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 I'm going faster.
Yeah.
You can also feel when you're like bleh all the time, and then when you get even more bleh, it's like tenfold worse.
Yeah.
Like on then boom, 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 and it just keeps going down until you're like, this is debilitating. It's just funny how it compounds so fast. It just move it one little notch from, let's say if it's a 1 through 10, 10 being the worst sickness up to wellness, and 1 being the worst or the best sickness, I guess, on the continuum. Then you jump over to wellness. If you just go from a 1 to like a 2 or 3, how much worse they feel compared to one another.
Yeah. Yeah.
Have you experienced that?
Yeah.
That
I would
kind
even
of
say like the travel. Like I would say like I felt the worst my first couple days in India, just because it's like we had nearly 50 hours of travel to get to our final destination, starting like from the drive from Albany to Boston. And then, so it's like my body wasn't horizontal for 2 days. Like, yeah, I can recline in these plane seats, and we got like Comfort Plus and everything. Like they were good seats, but it's like you weren't like your body wasn't able to like really get good. Like I could feel myself the first couple days that we were there of like, I'm fighting. But then like as the trip went on and you like adjust and everything, like you can feel yourself kind of coming back. Like even the elevation was so high. I can't remember what they were saying because I don't do like too many hikes and stuff. So I don't know like the numbers, but they were saying like just the regular city that we were in, it was like some of the like peaks up here in like upstate New York is like what we were walking around all day. So I could like feel myself like shortness of breath those first couple days, and then like over time like gaining that or like getting back to like my normal state and being able to like kind of handle that a little bit more. But those like those days of travel like definitely chipped away because you're not eating regular, you're just maintaining.
And yeah, it's like you're vertical for so long, and like the way everything's pooling in your body, like all the
Yeah.
fluids, your blood, your lymphatics, it's good things happen when you lay down, but you don't want too much of either of anything, right? Like just be upright walking around.
Yeah.
And yeah, and that's interesting with like just how quickly your body adapts to the breathing, but it's like that's how you train too. You're out of breath often, so your body just adapted so quickly.
It would be honest. We were saying that too. It would be a good place to train, just because of the elevation. Like you would feel it. Like when Renee went to Colorado for a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like I think it's like similar. Like you could really feel the difference.
Makes you wonder why none of these games athletes have like done that, like gone to like a really extreme place and then they just come down to the United States and just
I mean they're probably not like fun to be in the whole
well,
year.
Yeah. But hey, do you want to win or not?
Right.
This is the other end of the spectrum. It's like, Coach, I taste copper, not for long,
Right. Yeah.
But I wonder. See, I think a couple of them. Well, actually, like you got to watch out because there could be some drug things or sanction things. But I wonder, do any of them have or as said that they have like a chamber? Like, do they go into and like for oxygen type stuff?
Oh, like the hyperbaric. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, for
And
sure. I've
at what
definitely
point does that get illegal for sport?
when they decide that it is.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Huh. That would have seemed like something that CrossFit would have just nipped in the butt right away. They're like, oh yeah, no,
I
you don't.
feel like it doesn't do as much.
Mm-hmm.
At least for like, I feel like at their level, like it's not doing as much. If you're like I don't think it'd be like a home install.
Yeah. Yeah, you'd have to get the big wooden cylinder thing.
Yeah. I know in the lead up to the games this year, they did the like road to the games things.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they did like Dallin Pepper and Jason Hopper. And they kept on doing like these cuts because Dallin is very much like that, where like he'll test his blood sugar, not for like diabetes purposes, but literally like, all right, what's my blood oxygen at beginning of this workout, middle of this workout, end of this workout, and like all these like scientific things. And then like it would cut to Jason, who's like, yeah, I don't know if any of that stuff really does anything. And then
He's like, I ate a handful of gummy bears. That's what I did.
yeah, and then you see the result this year, and it's like Jason won at the games this year. So I don't know. There's certain things where it's like clearly it can't be that big of a.
Yeah. Do you think that's do you think that sometimes things get too behind the scenes? And other sports have had this issue too, because like all right, you get the pro, he's like, oh yeah, so I prick my finger and then I measure it and then mid-wad and then you have a bunch of yahoos who like, it's like, hey, you need to eat well first. Like, and also like he doesn't need to eat well and lose 30 pounds. That's why you see him eating like Rich Froning a jar of peanut butter every day and whatnot. It's like he's past that point, you know. But then you get people who are like all of a sudden like blood glucose monitor or measuring tools like skyrocket on Amazon. Everyone's buying them.
Yeah. I think if you take two people who are already the same fitness level and you give them opposite paths where one goes on that kind of tracking and everything, like even a Whoop, I feel like sometimes it can have a negative effect on you mentally because it's supposed to help you train smarter, right? Where it's like, oh, I didn't get enough sleep, so I'm in the red. Maybe I shouldn't try to go as hard in training today. Maybe that'll just have a negative effect. But it's like on like a game time weekend where you're like, it doesn't matter how I feel when I wake up. Why am I even wearing these like readables?
Yeah.
Because if I know that it's based on what is tracked, like, oh, today's not going to be a good day. Like, am I going to go into these next events thinking that I can do well? Versus the guy who's not tracking anything and he's like, I don't know, I don't feel great, but you know, we're still going to do whatever. Like, you don't have science telling you like today's going to be a bad day.
Yeah, I've had a lot of good performances on bad feeling days,
right?
But also, it's funny. The Whoop. All right, I've had so many people come in and they're like, I didn't eat all day. I didn't drink any water since last Friday, and it's Thursday on the following week, or any X thing. And I'm like, well, let's take it a little easier today and things like that. Let's just do this. Let's just move. And they don't want to listen to you. So now you're going to tell me that someone who is already in this mindset is going to look at their Whoop, and the Whoop is like, you should take it easy today. And they're not going to be like, boop, we'll talk tomorrow, Whoop, and just not come in and redline it. Like,
yeah. So
like, who's listening to the little Whoop? That's what I'm skeptical about as well. I think you have the Whoop to tell you what you want when you want it, kind of a deal. And then also to talk to other people about it. Like, oh yeah, I got the thing, which I'm not sold on any of those things. I would rather just like again, do it myself. Be like, how do I feel? And am I fully in tune with my body and what I need to do? No, we need to go a little bit lighter. I need to scale this way or things. I don't want this thing. Because I want to have to do the thinking. And I know in today's age, people don't want to think, you know, then people have decision fatigue and whatnot. But like, all right, this is an important thing that I do want to think about. So I'm going to put it up here. And some days it's like, no, we shouldn't do anything today. We should eat better, you know, things like that. Or maybe I got really, really bad sleep. And today I'm just trying to save the day. So I'm going to move a little bit, you know, but I feel like you have to get those reps in to be able to intuitively do it. Just like even with training, it's like, okay, I tell you the weights to lift all the time, but now we're kind of practicing like, we'll go by feel. How does it feel? You should know if you should go up another 10 kilos based on how that last one felt. Don't lie to yourself right now. And don't let your ego get in the way. Should it be 10 kilos? Should it be 5? Should it be 3? Should it be none at all? Should you do that set again? You need to know how to do that. And that's how you can get up to the next levels and things. So I'm not sold on that kind of stuff. I'm not sold on a lot of things these days. And I'm trying to bring it bring it back to like I'm trying to get my life as closer back to like 2011, 2010. And now that I have this new phone, I've been getting all of my logging ins. I finally have them. That's what a nightmare that is, trying to find all the logins for every little thing. I have them all now written down, and I will be today deleting Instagram, Facebook, and my email off my phone as well. Because 2011 James didn't used to check his email on his phone. It was if I'm out grocery shopping, I was inaccessible other than phone or text.
Right.
And those people that could access me, you probably should, because you have this information, or something. But now it's like, why am I responding to an email in the parking lot of Hannaford? Like that, like you just get into it so much that you don't realize how insane it is. It's like, why am I doing paperwork right now when I'm grocery shopping? I should just be like focused on grocery shopping. That would be nice. So yes, it's going to be good. And I will pop it back on when I have to, because you can't do the stories. So if I'm going to share stories, I'm trying to figure that out. It might be like, all right, Saturday stories. I go on there and I find all the videos from the last week for the New York WSO, share them all, and then boom. Because they don't need to be shared the same day, right? You get double publicity. Like if you share your lifting video on Tuesday and I don't share it until Saturday, well, hey everyone, look at that video. That's
a nice second wind. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's my plan. And I was researching it. Apparently, you might go through a little bit of a detox from social media. But then it's like, okay, what do I do when I go to bed? You sleep. Like I was having a conversation with someone the other day, and they're like, "Yeah, I was up until 1:00 in the morning scrolling on my phone," and I do that as well. And it's like, why are we doing this? Why are we crazy now? Why are we hurting ourselves?
Yeah.
And I have that Dracula book over there that I haven't picked up since June because of the CrossFit Games. And guess what? It's going right back into my bedroom. Like that's it. So you just have to tell yourself, James, if you want something to do, here it is.
Yep.
Open those pages. And also, I'm feeling the clock ticking now. I need to finish that book before the end of the year, or otherwise it's a failure. So that I have to. I was gonna read so many books this year, Miguel, and now I've just been kind of bottlenecked on this one book.
Yeah.
So I have to finish that one because I've been adding books to my Amazon cart, and I'm like, there's another sickness happening here right now, and you need to finish this book. So I cannot buy any of those books until I finish this book.
Yeah.
Where were we? Sorry, I went off on a tangent. I guess,
lifestyle versus the death style.
So yeah, it's just something to think about, right? And when I did it for myself, the apps, these stupid apps on this phone, because it got so much worse when I got a new phone. It really did. The screen is better. The videos are better. I want to use it because I paid for it. Yeah. And it's so I was like, oh, that's clearly like my phone is under the death style thing, and get rid of them, and that's one step before, because I've been talking about all year, completely deleting the social medias, because they're under the death style too, but they're under, I guess, a subcategory of the app itself and being too accessible, so that's why we're on this next phase of things.
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe 2026 James won't have any social media. Just turn it off. But yeah, any other thoughts on lifestyle, death style? Are you making any active changes yourself to like remove things from one bucket and put them into another, or really just attack your own death style bucket?
Yeah, no, I do think I'm constantly weighing things, always based off like, what is it adding versus what is it taking away?
Yeah.
And I make adjustments accordingly. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You got to do it. You got to evaluate, and you got to be able to recognize those things,
Right.
I used to come home after the gym and start working on things, and I haven't done that in a really long time. Like this year, I've been so good about being like, well, it's the end of the day. I'm going to shower, eat, and I'm watching a movie or something.
Right.
But then, like, the thing with the app is someone will pop up in the DMs. Hey, I have a question. I'm like, well, there shouldn't be a way for you to like so easily.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's so
hours of engagement. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's so unnatural that I'm on it so much that I will see that you've messaged me at 11 o'clock at night and respond back to you. It's like, so like, I just got to get rid of it. And then it's all, I put on a computer. Let me see if I have any messages. Boom. Oh, well, this is how you find a record. There you go.
Yeah.
They will live if I don't contact them right away.
Yeah.
I hope. I hope. My next topic here is, and this is good for this time of year, because people are starting to think about making changes or joining a gym is the big thing. And it's holding yourself back by waiting for the right time. Because as you and I know, the right time will never come. The right time is only now, right? I guess unless you're saving money to try to like, oh, I got to save money to pay for that thing, my new pair of shoes. That's really the only thing I could think of being the right time. What do you think about this?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's always the advice that you're going to hear, is that there's never going to be a right time. Literally. Like never. Like, even if it seems like, yeah, it's always in retrospect where you look back and you're like, that worked out perfectly. Like, it's never like you see the path ahead and you're like, 3 weeks from now, that'll be a perfect time to do this. Like,
joining the gym is the classic example. And like in CrossFit, it's, I need to get in shape first before I start CrossFit. And oh my God, like I've talked to so many people, so many leads about that. I'm like, you just need to come in right now, and because like you will never get to the point where you in your brain think that you are fit enough. Right. I've never run into, I would like to know if someone has honestly run into someone who's done that. I can't think of anybody that I've met and I'm like, oh yeah, I trained hard for 6 months, got to the point where I felt I was ready to start CrossFit. And we have had people join the gym that have said that they've done that or they've lost a significant amount of weight. And the only thing I could think of is like, man, it could have been 2 months, 3 months if you just came in and started doing this. You just held yourself back for 6 months, and you would have been 6 months ahead on like knowing what weights to use, knowing how to scale workouts, all these things. Or if you think about it, like maybe someone's like, oh, I want to find a significant other. But I need to wait for these things. Once I get a new wardrobe, once I lose 10 pounds, once I do this, and then like those things don't matter to a lot of people. It's like unless you're working on changing your personality, that and the kind of person you actually are, that might not work out. What you need to do is get out there and get the reps, go talk to people, delete those apps, those kinds of things, find actual connections. So it's like, it seems like with everything, there is no right time. Again, unless it's a financial thing where it's like, I have no money to join a gym. I'm going to join a gym, but I'm setting aside $10 every paycheck so that I can start to do that.
Yeah. I was even originally, when I saw the topic, I was even thinking about like training wise, where, potentially holding yourself back from like trying to PR a lift or something, because you're like, we're peaking for this meet specifically. I'll save it for this day. And then for many of us, like meet day is never really like your best feeling day. So it's like, what were you really saving it for? Like
and how
it doesn't always
disappointing.
work out that way. Yeah. So it's always like, if today you feel good, especially if there's like a window of opportunity for you given right now, like that's when you go for it. If it feels good today, go for it today. If it doesn't, then you wouldn't anyway, but don't go like, yeah, in 4 weeks at the end of the cycle, that'll be the day that I go for it finally.
Oh boy. We've had people join the Barbell Club that wanted to do that. They're like, yeah, I have a scheduled max out in 12 weeks. I'm like, I'm the guy and the coach that when I trained actively, it was, all right, I'm going to max out today. And then tomorrow we're going to max out again.
Yeah.
And then the day after that, we're going to max out again. And we're just going to be in this endless battle on like going heavy, but training to maximum is a skill. It's another thing that you need to do, like along with like training your technique, and you can do all of them. And that I'm told, like, if any one of you guys comes in that day and like you got that walk, you got that look in your eyes, and you'd be like, I'm doing this step. Yeah, let's do it. Like, let's build up. How are you gonna get there? You know, like I'm taking 3 jumps. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And then what do you do the rest of the time? Bump it back down and hit your work sets. And like, because I'm just telling you guys what the plan is for the day, but remember, it's not a concrete plan. Like if because that plan could change if maybe you're not feeling enough for that. Like you're supposed to be snatching 80 kilos, but you're like, boy, I got no sleep. I have to snatch 55 today. Fine.
Yeah.
That's the maximum for today. It just changes for so many reasons. Or like you said, the competition aspect of it. Boy, the people that want to wait for the perfect scenario to do their first meet, it's like, no, just sign up, put on that singlet. You'll be so far ahead for when you do the next one.
Yeah.
It's a local meet or it's a meet in our gym. Like just do it. You're gonna gain so much out of it. And we should be going light enough that you're just knocking lifts out left and right. And the only thing you're really battling is just the nerves and the weirdness of the competition platform. That's it. That I've heard a million times. That's always a battle. It's like you just need to do it now. Yeah, that's really all I have to say about that one. It's like there's
no, I mean, I feel like it's almost the most obvious thing, but it's the hardest one to kind of combat.
Yeah.
Because we all know it, and I feel like we all do it in different ways. Yeah, like I'm fairly confident when it comes to like gym related things. So I'm like, okay, I can just hop in. Like it's not a skill level thing, but sometimes it is like timing where you're like, oh, does it make sense for me to start this now when I could start it? Like give me a fresh week where I know that like everything is settled and then I'll go do this. And then that week comes by and you're like, actually, this isn't the best time to do it. And you're like, I could have started it 5 weeks ago when I had the chance, but I was looking towards this date. And now this date doesn't work. So now I'm going to push it even more. And yeah.
Because life is always going to get in the way. Yeah. You've got that date on the calendar. And right now, guaranteed, there's so many people that are like January 1st, which is, I think, a Wednesday. Like I'm a random Wednesday coming up that we all agreed, society all agreed, this is a special holy day of starting new things. The number changes. So I'm going to wait now. And it's like, if you would have started even right now, like it's 2 months, you know, and a couple extra days. If you start in October, like I literally have nothing that I'm looking to start in the new year because I've already started and implemented all of them.
Yeah.
You know, like all the little things I'm trying to do. It's like now's practice time, if anything, and to establish the habit and to not finish out the year in such a blue way. I'm just like, yeah, I'm just going to burn these 2 months or these 3 months.
Yeah.
And then start further behind. Like, oh, it's hard now starting on January 1st. I'd rather feel like great on January 1st and just go about my normal day and like, yeah, oh yeah, this is what we do.
Yeah.
I actually, the only thing that I'm like waiting to do, and I might end up doing it sooner rather than later because of deals, is buying the track walking treadmill for here at home. But like my whole big thing has been like, I want to finish the year to have earned that, you know? I haven't, but it's like, I haven't missed a day yet. Like we were very militant about getting these 7,000 steps. And the only thing that I would like to do is to get that is to like, all right, just commit to January, like a little challenge myself, 10K a day on January. And then if I have that here and I'm just walking and doing stuff, that's very easy to do. Yep. So that saving money is why I would buy earlier right now. Yeah. And just to have it here already. But yeah, so that's it. That's it. Let's see here. Last topic. Ditching training compensations to actually make progress. You know, like your comfort zone and a thing and how you do. And like the big one that pops out to me all the time is people who refuse to have a full grip on the pull-up bar and they want to go with the thumbs on top. And I was reading like an article that talked about it. And they're like, this is how much strength you leave on the table. This is how you're not strengthening your grip and all these things. And you've just figured out a way to do it. And you look at the people that do that, it's like you have the weakest pull-ups. Like you have some pull-ups, but they're so weak. And that grip strength isn't transferring over to anything. So people kind of get married to training compensations. And that might be even a scaling option. Well, I just like to do ring rows. I don't want to have to do that other stuff. So I just do ring rows all the time at the same difficulty every single time. But what do you think about this?
Yeah, I think
first, I guess my first question is how do people get into having a compensation in training to begin with?
Yeah, sometimes it's just watching other people who maybe a similar background, but like maybe even a completely different background. Like sometimes you don't even know, especially with the internet and YouTube and social media, like so many people have different backgrounds that's one of their habits. Like the gymnast style of pull-ups, but like you got to think a lot of those gymnasts start when they're so young and their pulling strength is so much stronger.
Unbelievable.
So it's like they're not looking to build. Like they're not looking to get their first few pull-ups. That's why they're able to do that. And they have different bars. Like they would feel different if they came and started doing pull-ups on our pull-up bars. They could still, because again, they have that pull-up power, like they could still do it, but it would feel different than the kind of bendier bars that they have at their gyms. It's a different style. It's like I've been following a lot of like people doing triathlons and running, and you see different tendencies in the way that people stride and in all of these things. And it's like, you could copy that, but also that guy's 6'3", and that's why he squats like that. That's why he runs like that. And you might just pick it up because that's the one those are the videos that you're viewing. Yeah. But yeah, it might not make sense.
This is right back to that social media death bucket.
Yeah.
It's and I like what you said there. You might be seeing a professional who has an engine and unbelievable work capacity, and they are built different, and they've also been working on this for forever. Not to lump her in the same bucket, but think about Pamela Gagnon, gymnastics coach, who's been doing this since she was a young little girl, and now she's in her 50s, and you watch her move, and you're like, oh my gosh, like it's incredible. She's just got amazing strength and technique and everything. But like if you watch some of those people thumb over the pull-up bar, it's like, okay, well, that's not you, but you're seeing that. And that's why like in weightlifting, like, oh, maybe I should pull like him. It's like, no, don't pull like him. You've never met him in person. You don't know how much different his body is than you. He's this big,
Right.
like, but he looks bigger on Instagram. Or you hear, and part of the problem is you're up scrolling, watching all these videos at night where the best thing that'll help your training is to go to bed. Go to bed right now and come to training, with energy and work on what you need to work on instead of like adding all these things that you want to try. And it's like, you don't even have established technique yet. And you're trying to add all these things, and you're going to try to change 5 things instead of 1 thing at a time. And you're not going to tell your coach. And then I'm like, have you changed your technique now? And you're like, maybe. And I'm like, it's meet day. It's why we had this happen at the state championships. And it's like, why are you doing that? Well, because you saw a video. Oh my God. So it's like, don't do that stuff. There's so much. It's information is a great thing, but the problem is now these days, and I won't even say that like there's too much information because there's too many people putting out information who shouldn't be putting things out. It's like, hey, if you want to say something, free speech, put it out there if it makes you happy. The problem is the people that are viewing you as an expert and taking it in and trying it, and it's not the best for them, because people don't know how to take in this knowledge and discern from right from wrong, But there's back in the day there were like 3 books on weightlifting and no internet and no social media, and you just saw people doing a grainy video in a Bulgarian dungeon of some obscene lift that you can't even comprehend. So of course you're not going to copy any of that, but now you can watch it in slow-mo and overanalyze it, and then start to overanalyze your own video. And of course you have video of yourself, and you're just there. Just go, wow, that's what I did wrong. It's like, no, that's not what you did wrong. Just don't even worry. Don't even worry about it.
That's actually funny. It reminds me of something that I actually read today. It was about manga versus anime.
Oh,
And as like things are like catching up, the animes are like catching up with the manga, and they were like, man, when I read this, like this character didn't get beat that badly, but you're like, yeah, but you only saw panels of like you could only see as much as you could see in like little snippets. Like in motion, this might look completely different than like the little snapshots that like in like a weightlifting book. Like they'll show you mid pull, but not every little sequence. Like you're not seeing every frame.
yeah.
And you're not seeing it in motion. So you just kind of have to create your own interpretation based off of that. And same thing with like fighting in MMA and kickboxing and all that stuff. It's like you can watch these fighters and you can go like, oh, well, his hands are always down. Maybe that's the reason why he's the best, is because he fights with his hands down. Like, no, that's an exception.
And you have no teeth.
Yeah, like you don't understand that it's like that was just probably how he moved, right? And that is that thing that's just hard for him to chip away at. Whereas like you don't even, like you said, like each person has their own style, and some people don't even allow themselves to find what that is because they're too busy chasing what somebody else has shown them or what they've seen.
Yeah, and it's a vicious cycle, because you're always going to keep seeing things, but you're not going to have any of the context behind it. You don't know that thing that they're doing. Their coach every day, even at the Olympics, they're like, stop doing that. Like, and they just do it, like, or maybe their coach is like, whatever, just do it,
Yeah.
But in the books, you see that snapshot of what even that coach in person making the book views themselves as being the ideal, or what they're trying to do. Or maybe even if we're in a class, and a CrossFit class, and I tell everybody, get those knees all the way back as far as you can. I know that, one, they're not naturally going to go that far back, and I don't actually want them to go that far back. But if you get in the habit of pushing them back, if I can just get a little bit of that will help us out. So you don't even have the context of like why I'm doing the thing in the moment. It's just because I know that you won't push them back, and it's such a weird thing for people to do. It's a hard thing. So I'm just going to go to one extreme, and then if you push it back a quarter of the way, now you've got your knees out of the way of the bar, and it'll hopefully balance out right in the middle where it needs to go. Because no one gets their knees fully, like super, super far back,
Right.
So that they're almost fully locked out. Although there's probably some coaches that teach that, so it's a slippery slope, and you're just being bombarded. Once you watch a couple videos and explanations, now all of a sudden your algorithm's like, well, this is what Miguel wants to see. Let's show this one. Let's show that one, and all these things. And you may not even start to notice that they're contradictory on what this guy said and what this person said.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And then you start to get confused and frustrated, and then you're trying to implement it yourself in the gym, and you're like, I can't get it. Well, that guy is not here to tell you that actually the way he gets that to happen is he like puts his pinky further out than his other hands.
Yeah.
And you didn't see that in the video. You just saw something else, So it's tough. Even with buying things. Like if I click on one ad for a home walking treadmill thing, I'm going to get 10 of them. And because all of a sudden my algorithm's like, he wants to buy this. Who's the best bidder? Who can get him the best? Yeah. Which one of you will win, James's money? And we had a conversation on Friday about one of those things you lay on to release your piriformis muscle. It's a thing on the floor. It's like a hook, and you put it like to the side of your belly button, and you lay on it, and it releases.
Oh, interesting.
But there's ads for it everywhere, but it costs $200. So the people that were debating about buying it were like, we were going to split it. So it's like you guys are going to have dual custody over a mobility tool that we know when most people buy mobility tools, use it once or twice and then it ends up in the closet.
Right.
So you guys are just going to give these people $200. And then I was like, I wonder if the research has changed or like what the common recommendations are in the last 10 or so years on releasing the piriformis, because it used to be like back in like the early 2010s and before that, you got to foam roll your IT band. And it's the most painful thing ever, but you got to foam roll that IT band. And then people are like, it doesn't release. It's a giant leathery tendon. It's like your seatbelt.
Yeah.
And like you will never release it the way you think. So you're just causing undue pain. And it's better to roll out the muscles above and below it, because those are the things that are pulling it tighter. So these are things that have changed on what the recommendation is. Now, if someone says, I got to roll my IT band, I'm like, well, what are you talking about? That's so almost 20 years ago.
Yeah.
So I looked up piriformis and it's like, yeah, people try, but like really it's tied more that muscle to your breathing. So you have to like do breathing exercises to relax that guy. And it's so big. It goes from the lumbar down into your femur. So it's like you're just focusing on this one spot and it's all the way down here and up here. And you also can't get deep enough to do it yourself. It's so deep. You need someone to actually go in there, and they'll tell you to breathe and relax and breathe and relax. And they'll get there. If you've ever had someone touch your spine before, in like a massage or something like that. So it's like, you're not going to get deep enough anyways. And then two, should you be trying to go that deep yourself and poke around?
Yeah.
Like, are you going to line that thing up great? Are you pushing on your spleen or your intestines or something else? It just doesn't seem like a good idea. You and I could create a little thing and like $300, it'll release it. And look, here's a video of Miguel saying that it released his piriformis and whatnot. And my thing with all those devices and stuff, have you ever met someone who has accomplished the goal on like, yes, my IT bands are now tip top shape. I did it. It's like, or like, yes, the evil piriformis muscle or my evil lat muscle, whatever it is finally released, and I am now on to bigger, better things.
Right.
I don't want to say I've almost never heard of stretching or those things working in the long term. Oh, I go get massages all the time. Well, did it work? Well, no, I keep going once every 3 months or something like that. Well, this sounds like a waste. It sounds like a waste of money. It's good to have like, all right, it feels good. It's like one of those things. In the moment, it feels good. It's almost like the chicken nuggets. 30 seconds, they tasted great. Then afterwards, I feel, ugh. Or afterwards, I didn't get anything out of it.
Yeah, it's all the things of like supplements are supplements. And a lot of those things are also supplements. And even like the tip top athletes who are like, yeah, I get massages like multiple times a week. It's like, we are not even competing at their level. And
we're not even training at their level.
Right. Like, and even in their videos, they're like, no, like I'm beat up every day, which is why I go. Like, it gives me like relief, but I don't think I've even heard people say like, yeah, and I feel great after. Like, I'm healed now. It's like, Shizi Young. He's got the cupping on his back like every time he competes, but after every lift, he like falls to his knees because he's like, I'm so beat. Like, you're not going to hear from him that like, yeah, all these things that I do, they cure everything. He's like, I get a little bit of relief, hopefully enough that I can compete that day, and that's it.
Yeah. I remember Klokov. He was like, I go to training, and then I go to the massage. They massage me for 90 minutes. Then I go in the sauna. Then I go eat. And then I do ice bath. And then all this stuff. And then tomorrow I'll do the same thing. And so he's getting it done all the time, and if you got on your foam roller every day and just rolled them out a little bit, the tissue quality, you can improve your tissue quality. But the other stuff, but then it's like, all right, you're doing this other, but you don't do any breath work. You don't know how to breathe, so you'd be surprised how people don't know how to breathe. You go to Hannaford and hey, take a deep breath for me. You see their shoulders raise up this high and everything. So they know how to breathe up here, but they don't know how to actually breathe, like
Right.
on for the breathing that is an exercise. Of course, everyone's breathing right now. You have your respiration, but it's like the breathing itself is an actual exercise you can do that is very beneficial for you. And it's free. You could lay on the floor and do that. You didn't have to buy fancy equipment, and you'd be surprised the stuff that it'll fix. Oh, I slept better. I didn't need to. So it's just crazy how, again, I like the words you used for it, supplements. It is all supplements, and everybody keeps getting roped into and conned on buying supplements, whether it be the food type of supplements or let's say the mechanical, like this mobility device, this next device that's going to enhance your performance, all these things. And it's also knowledge supplements. This video that's going to fix my technique finally, all these things. And I guess it comes down to everyone's looking for the magic answer instead of just doing the basics, the boring stuff, and the hard work. Right? Is that it?
Yeah.
It's Ozempic. Everything is Ozempic. All those things are Ozempic. I just want to take a shot, but I will not do the mundane work that will also get me the same result.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Like that's the thing. It's like Ozempic is like the word we can use for it now, but it's like this has been long in the making of like you're saying, like taking everything off of your phone and all of these things. It's like everybody wants everything that's connected to everything and that can do this on its own and blah blah blah. And it's like, yeah, that's not. Most of us aren't going to get the result. The result is always moving, so it's like, yeah, this quick fix to like get to whatever it may be. Even if you get to, it does bring you to the point of like where you might have wanted to be when you started. Once you get there, it's like the goalpost has already moved. So yeah.
And oh boy, I know in our last coaches development meeting we talked all about GLP-1, which is Ozempic or one of those things. I went down the rabbit hole of side effects on it and a couple of like the worst horror stories. There's this one lady who she took it for like 2 months, and for several years now, she vomits at a minimum 5 times, 6 times a day and is nauseous all the time. And she also has to go to get IV to like make sure she's hydrated. And the motility of her stomach no longer works. So she'll eat food and it'll just sit there and ferment instead of going out. And there was when it was its worst, she was vomiting 200 times a day.
Huh.
And then, but like that was all she was doing. She like didn't like, I'm going to exercise too. I'm going to do this. It was literally just, I want the magic pill.
Right.
And boy, and there's another lady who her lower intestines died. Like the tissue died itself. Like you can have just parts of you that die and start to necrose, and they had to remove it. So now she has like a bag for the rest of her life. And it's like neither one of them decided, I'm going to join the gym and just start eating right. Isn't it? So like, that's like, what is that? What's that sound? Do you hear that?
That is the heater kicking on.
That's an aggressive heater. You're going to be warm.
It's a small apartment.
Nice. I have my doors open right now just for fresh air. But isn't that crazy how? And there's so many examples for everything on the lengths people will go to do it. Just starving yourself, just to lose weight. And it's like, really, are the push-ups that bad, or whatever it is you would going for a 10-minute walk? Is it that bad? Is it that hard? I don't know. I know we're coming from like the lifestyle and the mindset, but
it's the cheap like Disney movie of it all, where it's like, what's more important, the journey or the destination? And it's like, it would be it could be destination, right? If the destination was a fixed point, but it's like what these people want and what everyone wants is like life.
Yeah.
and that's always going to be moving. So it's like you might as well enjoy everything that it takes to get there, whether that's the working out, the running, you figure out you love running, you bump into people that like running, and you find friends and all this stuff. But yeah, overall, it's like people want to
And
stick to their thing. People don't want to change anything and then get whatever they want,
yeah,
and that's not how that works.
it's like the get rich quick scheme.
Yeah,
You'd rather try to like break laws or do this scam or this deal and make all that money instead of like, all right, like actually doing the work. Like a lot of entrepreneurs fall into that trap. They're like, and then they end up having too much freedom, and then their laziness kicks in, and they don't
right.
don't do anything. But they don't realize like, oh, Miguel wakes up at 4 a.m. and starts working on his business. And he's gotten more done before 10 p.m. than most people will do in a work week, or maybe even a month of work. So it's crazy, and I wish there was a way, because of course people take those shortcuts with their fitness, and then they do get the reward, the gratification of when people are like, "You look great, Miguel." That's because that's part of the reward. But like, imagine it does feel different when you did put in the work and then you get that reward. Like, because I think about the way it made you feel when people in India were like whoa, like you work out and like you just, and they're like looking at you and all this stuff. I bet that feels different than if, let's say, you took a lot of shortcuts, you got surgeries, right, to look a certain way, and you took drugs to lose weight and all that stuff. I don't know. Stolen valor is a good good
Yeah,
example.
yeah.
Like those people that dress up as cops or dress up as servicemen and women, and they get that dopamine hit of when they're like, "Oh, thank you for your service" and everything, but they didn't actually do the thing. All right, is I guess there is stolen valor in fitness and health and stuff, or lifestyle.
Yeah, because it's like I think it's every like teenage kid who like gets into fitness or whatever. Initially, it is not solely always, but like part of it is like, oh, I want to look a certain way. But then it's like, especially when I got into weightlifting, it's like, oh, this has nothing to do with, I'm going to put the like aesthetic part of this away. And I'm just solely, I look the way that I look because of weightlifting.
Yeah.
Like we don't really, we do accessory work, but a lot of it is based off of weightlifting. So it's like, my body is made purely off of weightlifting. If it also looks good, that's a plus. But yeah,
And it took
the fact
time.
that right, like the fact that I wasn't like every day I'm like, all right, this is to look this way, and I can still look a certain way purely based off of like I just want to lift the most weight possible, like makes it that much better.
Yeah. Like you look at Miguel from 2020 and Miguel today, 5 years, totally different person. I'll
Yeah,
see those old videos pop up and I'm like, who of
and it's
everybody? I'm like, who are these people?
yeah, it's purely just off like, yeah, we pull and squat every day because that's what our movements are. It's pulling
Yeah.
from the floor or from the hang, and it's
Which
usually
is
a
the
full
most
squat.
basics of squat, pull, and press.
Yeah, and we do
But
it every time we train, so that's why.
yeah, yeah, it's crazy. One of those ladies, I can't remember which one. I think it was the second one. No, it was the first one. The throwing up lady, I think. They had to do like an emergency surgery and something, and like she almost died like 5 times during the
Hmm.
surgery. So this whole thing almost cost her life, and then she went off the Ozempic. What do you think happened 2 months after?
What, she ended up losing the weight?
Right back on Ozempic. Well, it
Oh,
almost
she went back to it.
she went back on it. It almost killed her, it ruined her life, all these things. And it's like, well, maybe not the second time.
Hey,
Instead of being like, this is a sign, I'm gonna get a trainer, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna just eat anything. And when I saw these people, and there were other people, when they did lose the weight, it didn't look good.
hmm.
Like you can just tell, like like there's no muscle, there's no definition that would have come from even just with running, just like it's just like you look emaciated, and it's like, but I know in their head they're like, I look good, this is what I wanted, and the clothes fit the way I want, but it's like, man, it's a slippery slope.
Yep.
And we see that all around the fitness industry, people doing crazy stuff with like injections to bump up their muscles, and all of a sudden their arm turns black and they might have to cut all that tissue out, and then not too long after they're like, well, I'm right back on it, guys, and all that stuff, because there's so much more tied into it,
right?
Especially with social media and sharing your life and all these things. So it's a tough world out there, but if you just do the basics, you'd be surprised how quickly they work. Eat reasonably, go to sleep on time, and be somewhat active, and you could change your life in 90 days, 30 days, after a little bit. It's just crazy how people cling on to the compensations, just like if you just did pull-ups with wrapping your thumbs, you'd be surprised how much quickly your pull-ups will get better. And then now you might actually get that muscle up and stuff, but people don't want to do it. They want to stay into the thing. And I guess like we have things in our, because you can't really grip the bar if you have grips, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Or does anybody use their thumbs when they're also using grips?
I guess not. Yeah. This is from someone who's never really used grips. But from what I can see, they typically just throw hands over.
So again, I'm anti-grip. Is this a thing? And I understand if you pop them on, now you can get your chin over the bar. There's some benefit there. Cool. But now this is the default. And you saw all the games athletes, they all have grips. I should have grips. But I don't have a pull-up yet, but I'm going to use grips. And it's like, what are we doing here? Like, they're at the point where they need to use those grips. They have 5 days of competition. Their hands are getting torn up. They have to protect their hands and all these things. And if it does save their grip a little bit so they can deadlift on day 3, cool, whatever you need to do. But I don't know if Gen Pop needs grips. I think you need just better pull-ups. We're going right back to the pull-up bar doesn't matter. You just need better pull-ups. So yeah, I don't know. And what does grips do other than make a bunch of companies a lot of money? For like, across the board, are grips doing more good for the people that are all using them, or is it just making big grips? So instead of big pharma, we got big grips out there who's selling the next best one, this leather, all that stuff. It's got the bar, doesn't have the bar. It's got the cool design. You just feel cool. Like, again, now we're back to look, I got the stuff on. And it's like, what are we doing here? Yep. I don't know. This seems like a bleak way to end all this. All right, Miguel, closing positive thoughts on everything.
Yeah, I guess big theme of everything today is like, I don't know, is it adding or taking away?
Yeah.
And that's a good way to look at things in your life in general. Like, things can be neutral, and neutral is fine, but overall, are they neutral to good, or is it neutral to bad to neutral? And then make decisions based off that.
Yeah, I think that's great. And like you said, way back, do an audit, do an assessment, like write it down. Like pull-ups. Do I have them? Do I not? I got grips, but using the grips for 5 months. I'm thinking about buying another pair of grips. Has any of evaluate from time to time? Is any of this helping me? And is it adding or is it taking away? Is it in life? Is it in death? Is it in pull-up versus no pull-up? And then make the changes to actually get the pull-up or to actually make the forward progress in your life. I think that's the best thing you can do. And put pen to paper to do that. Like, don't even just think about it. Like, write it down and do the math. Don't do it on your phone. Don't get off this thing. Like, get a piece of paper and discover that, oh, I can't write anymore. Like, this is weird. Yeah. And do that, right? Make your columns. I guess it could be life, neutral, death, or however you want to label them, and pick a thing that's a part of your lifestyle and or the way that you're doing things now, and do an audit. Is it actually helping or not? Make a list of all the positive things, all the things that like that's the hard part. Is not lying to yourself too. It's really easy to lie to yourself,
sure.
but like go for the big ticket items. You go to bed at 2:00 every night. Write that down under the bad column or the death column, whatever it is. And then it's easy to make changes from that, and waiting for the right time to start something that's clearly under the death style. Like, would you wait for the right time to take your hand off of a hot stove, or to like just to make it really dumb and basic, or to not walk down the street where there's like wild dogs and it's dark and gloomy versus the nice happy side? Like, would you wait for the right time to do a lot of things that you normally wouldn't? Like just start. And maybe even making this list and doing this type of an audit is the right time now. The right time to do that is right now. It's not January 1st. It's not the end of December. And clearly under the negative death column is just coasting through the rest of the year and just eating cookies and being like, because that's what everybody else does, and most people in our thing that we do, with fitness and gyms and everything, don't want to be like everyone else. You want to be exceptional at something. So don't just waste the end of the year and gain 10 to 15 pounds. That's a choice to do that. You're choosing to do that, just like staying up late at night scrolling on your phone. And you don't do that with anything else in life, right? You can't just be like, well, I'm not going to work for the rest of the year because it's been a tough year or whatever. I'm going to wait to start working on January 1st, and I'm not going to get paid for the rest of the year. It's the same thing. Pay yourself now with the good stuff. There we go. This is a better way to end this instead of with the other way. So cool. Good talk, Miguel. It's nice that we're back. We're back. Where can people follow you?
Can it be Miguel on Instagram?
There you go. Follow me, James A. McDermott, on Instagram. Although don't message me. Come to Albany CrossFit. Send me an email. If you need either Miguel or I to tell you to stop being a baby and to start doing stuff right now, we'll yell at you. It just might not be 5 minutes after you send us a message. You might there might be a couple business days in there, but yeah, we're not opposed to helping and shedding some light on it. So yeah, follow me, follow all the other stuff. And thank you everybody for listening. And we will be back again next week before Thanksgiving. We'll talk about Thanksgiving workout. Oh, end stream.